Okay, Bangernomics. What do I mean by Bangernomics? Do you go and buy a brand new car, £60 a week, and have it on HP and then do it that way? Or do you Bangernomics? So this is our Bangernomical car. Cost us 350 quid and was going scrap. Now obviously I can fix anything, so it's kind of, this is what you do for Bangernomics. This is a 1990s Volvo. 3 litre, but it was cheap. It was 350 quid, I can't even open the bonnet. Okay, so £350 car. Cost me 180 quid in welding and the MOT. Now, the thing with old cars, you can fix them, which I go on to later. But I thought I'd just say Bangernomics is the way to go. You cannot beat Bangernomics. Do you spend £50 a week on a new car and then it might blow up? Or do you buy a shed, a very good shed, a very rare shed, the Swedish brick? So Bangernomics, I think, is the way to go. So the Swedish brick. So obviously the interior of the Volvo is pure 1990s. I mean, it's functional, shall we say. I don't think it can be described any other ways. It's not super brilliant, it's not super tactful, but I mean, it does what it says on the tin. You've obviously got a clock, because we all need a clock. We obviously need the important stuff like a speedo, not that you go fast in a Volvo. You've also got some really good things like the fuel gauge, which is on the other side, but it doesn't work, and temperature gauge, which does work, which is all I care about. You've got your range of lights, oil lights. You've got a very interesting triangle thing going on down this corner, and that's for your emission control stuff and your oil light and everything else. And obviously the ticker. Ah, there's a memory for you. Nearly as good as a memory as a cassette, which doesn't work. So I'm a bit annoyed about that. So I'm really annoyed about that because it's not working. That's because it's not on. But it's kind of stopped working. Look, listen. That one. Turn it over.
So radio time.
All right. Nope, nothing from that one. So just turn it off. Right, so obviously there's lots of stuff when you buy a Bangernomical car that you don't know what it is. I've got a red light here. I haven't a clue what that means. I've got another thing here. Have no idea what this is. No idea. So, and there's a little thing here like a microphone for something, but don't even know what that is. You've basically got what you need to drive the vehicle, okay? You've got key on the right hand side, you've got your lights with the Volvo, it's always on, fog lights. You've got heated seats in this model, but obviously due to the internal rain system, which we have on this Volvo, they've seized solid. And the switches for your electric windows are in here as well. Let's just start her up. So obviously the key has a firm feel, should we say? Oh, just listen to that burst into life. Okay, but what we do an irrigation system on this. So we do an internal irrigation and we just sort of fold that down onto there. And there you go. So the internal rain is now not an issue. There we go, all done. So we have some internal rain issues to go along with the external rain. You have a heater, which only works on 5, which is not an issue really, although I better put it on 5. So I'll have to speak louder because obviously it's such a smooth vehicle. Now the Swedish brick, as it's known, obviously because of its shape, because it's not known for its aerodynamics, although I did watch a video and they said it was pretty good on the old aerodynamics. So I'm just gonna do a quick Bangernomic sort of thing for you. Obviously we've come out to do a video, so now it's starting to rain, as is the one, which is why I haven't done a few videos on YouTubers for a while. Now I've got to admit, really enjoy this. It does take me back to my youth, because obviously this is the cars. Oh, let's turn that off. This is the cars that we were running around in as cars, you know. They weren't bangers then. These were reputable cars that we would buy and drive. Now, this is the 2.3 B30 engine, or red block as it's more commonly known. Now, it's not powerful. I mean, I'll floor it, and the only thing that managed to happen was the light fell out. So it's not a fast thing. I mean, this is it has a Regina fuel injection system. Yes, I said Regina. Even the child is smiling. So we're just going to go out. I mean, this is a low mileage vehicle. Obviously you can see that as 233,838 miles, and we're still going. Now, environmentally, you've got to think that's a good thing, and everything works, you know. Everything kind of works, although I have had to stuff a sock in the foot vent, because the foot vent, I've blocked it so I get more of a doofer up there. Now, there is some down points with this big Volvo. Not a lot of places to put your phone. There's no like cubby holes, there's no sort of things going on to do it, but it works. And I'm just listening, the squeak has actually gone. There was a rather annoying squeak coming from these wipers somewhere inside the wiper mechanisms. But the beauty of this thing, you fix it. You just take it apart, clean it, put it back together, and it all works. So you have no electrics. We have electric windows, which work. Oh, what's going on? Oh, they did work. Oh, there you go. So they work. Brian, does your window not work? Ah, it only works on that side. Okay, now the thing with this is, being a 2.3 petrol, it's pretty shite on fuel. But so the answer is, how juicy? That is 155 kilometers. Let's reset it. All right, so that's 155. So let's go and have a look then, shall we? I'm filming myself, am I? God, you just can't get good cameramen. Look at that. Look at that. How do you look? I used to think that was to hang them on, but I don't know. So let's see how much. We've done 155 mile. E10, £1.47p a litre. Oh, £1.48 a litre, isn't it? Is there someone in there pressing the button? Come on, mate, push button. So here we go. Let's do it. Oh, it's going in, it's going in. Oh, that's probably going to be about 150 more, I reckon, about 20, 30 quid, maybe 40. So it does drink like a proverbial fish, but when you haven't got anything else, oh god, oh god, oh no, 29, 30. That's a lot of juice. There you go, 40 quid.
40 quid.
£40 to go, how far?
27.
150 mile. Oh, you need to film people because I'm going to punch you. So, that's really bad. 40 quid, 27.31 litres to go 150 mile. Terrible. But I tend to tolerate it, you know, because it's quite fun to drive. People do look at you. They do look at you and go, oh wow, he's just an old Volvo now. And to the extent where I joined a little Facebook group and they recognise the Volvo from where it's parked on Normandy Hill. Now, you do have this strange Salt Lake expanse of a bonnet in front of you, which takes us back to the 90s, but to be honest, if you can drive, then it's not an issue. It's just, you know, you've got a table in front of you. Noise, it's got a little bit of noise because there's a blow in the front exhaust, but it's had a brand new exhaust everywhere else. We've got well, I was going to say we've got loads of controls, but we haven't. We've got no internal climate control, I've got no air conditioning, there's no compressor to eat more fuel. I've got an airbag light on, which is kind of an intermittent airbag light. It sort of does what it wants sometimes, and sometimes if you press it hard it will go out and the other one will light up. Same with the petrol gauge. The petrol gauge will work sometimes when it chooses to, but I mean, I'm at 144 miles, so I'll fill up. Now, it is juicy. It's a 2.3 petrol fuel injected. It's going to be juicy, but I just live with it, you know. It's the only car that's going. It's cavernous in the back. It's been used to do a few bin diving sessions, and it's great. I love it to death. I really do love it to death. Brakes, when we done the brakes on the MOT, off the scale, baby. So it goes up to 300, and it was off the scale, like literally off the scale. It's got all new brake stuff, and I've got a list of parts that we'll pull over, and I'll actually talk you through the list of parts. The gear change, I think it's a ZF box in this one. What a beautiful gear change. I would say it's controlled positivity from the gear linkages. 5-speed box, not the overdrive. So we've got a 5-speed box, I can't remember, and that's 5th and that's 3rd. So yeah, because I've been driving so many cars, I think. So the gear change is effortless. I mean, it really is effortless. It just slips itself into gear. Everything is a bit notchy. Indicators, notchy. Indicators, notchy. You've got your wiper stalks, bit notchy. You've got a rear wash wipe on the back, obviously because it gets a lot of dirt because it's like driving a brick. But I mean, look at this. We get up to 65, 60, which is the only speed I go at, and I ride bikes, so you won't find me doing my wipers that often. Let's put the intermittent on. No, I think we need on full time. Turn that one off. Now, this thing's done 233,000 miles, and if you look at it, we've been to London in it. Check out the video where we picked a Motor Guzzi bike up and put it in the boot of this thing. We've been to Bristol in it, and I literally would jump into this and drive it anyway. I even joked about taking the missus to Norway or up to Sweden, to its native homeland. And it's great. Mirrors are shit on. I'm old school, I love me mirrors. Brilliant mirrors. Even back in 1994, they gave it that little concave or convex bit so you get a good view. I just think it's a fascinating little car. Massive rear view mirror. When it stops raining, I'll show you some other stuff about this thing. I mean, we've got a couple of interesting facts that I can tell you, or my child can tell you. Right, my child is going to film and read, so this should be an interesting thing. And he's already filming everything but me. So here we go. No, on this piece of paper he's got there is interesting facts that I've wrote out. So, what have you got there, Fathead?
25 back. 20.
You can't do two things at once, can you?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a list down there. I think I'll pull over because he's going to not be able to read that. Now, there are great things about running bangers. There are great things about running banganomics. This is when you really get into the banganomics of, do you go and get a car that's maybe 10 years old, 8 years old, like a Corsa on a 59 plate or a 53 plate, whatever that is. So you've got to think of the costs of maintaining these vehicles, and whether you can get parts, and when it comes down to your maintenance, it's your labour charges that are going to get you. Because modern cars are shit to work on. I know mechanics who are giving up mechanics because of the state of the vehicles, i.e. trying to do a relatively simple job and either everything's made of plastic or it just breaks. Or you've got to take half the car apart to do a pretty simple job. Now, when you have an old car, I mean, this is 1993 technology, you know, and back in 1993 it was pretty high up. Okay, this was quite a luxurious car in 1993 with the heated windows, heated windows. Well, yeah, it's got a heated rear window. Not all cars had that. We've got our heated seats, we've got our electric windows, central locking on the key. All right, so you've got all these things happening on this car, which is an old wreck. Now, I can't say for you to go and buy a Volvo as a Bangernomics, but this is 1993. How old's that, Brian? 1993?
So 1993 you got you got 1993, the nearest, so you got 7 in your head.
Yeah.
And then you've got 2022.
Yeah.
So 2022 take away 7. 22 plus 7 will be 29 years old.
So it's 30 years old because we're in 2023.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
so it's
true.
a 30-year-old vehicle, all right? Now, you're not going to get in a 30-year-old... Oh, that lovely gear change. Oh, into one. You've got a synchro, so you can go into one while you're moving. Okay, everything is firm. Handbrake action, little bit firm. But it works. I mean, even that, there's not a lot of vibration there. Here we go. And you're having to push the accelerator to make yourself move. So what we'll do, we'll find somewhere to pull over. And I'm just going to read some of these costings I've got, because some older cars, yeah, you can't get parts for. So if you're thinking of buying an early Volvo or an early Escort or anything that's sort of 90s, 80s, okay, you've got to be looking into, it may need parts, all right? But you've also got to think these parts are readily available or not readily available. So just do your research. You know, there's so much information on the forums, there's so much information on groups, on Facebook, and just do your research. If you go onto eBay and just type in your regular things, type in the regular things that you think you might need, all right, and if it turns up that a set of brake discs is 190 quid, possibly not the best sort of car to be going for. So I'm going to pull over and I'm just going to go through this bit of paper that I've quickly done to show the Bangernomic situation. And obviously your heater's not going to be as quiet. Look at the roll in the bonnet though. So we've got parts. You've got to think about whether or not you can afford to buy them, whether or not you can afford to buy them and keep this car running. You've got a fuel issue. Old cars drink more, all right, unless it's maybe an early diesel like a 205 diesel, and then you're laughing. Okay, watch the roll on the bonnet. You ready, Brian? Woo! So you've got all these things to look for when you're buying a banger, and I've got, look at it, it's just great. It's just great. There's no immobilizers to drain your battery. There's no complicated immobilizers that are just going to turn off your fuel pump because they feel like it, because something feels a bit weird with it. You've got no integrated systems, so your integrated systems aren't going to turn everything off just to be a pain in the ass. So you've got, this might have a crank sensor, I think, but that's probably about as technical as it gets, even though it's still injection. Oh, windy pops. So you're looking at simple fixes for mechanics as well. They're not going to be fitting a part that cost you 50 quid, a sensor, and then going, oh, it didn't work. Because what do you do then? What do you do then as a owner of a car when a mechanic says, "Oh, I've just spent 45 quid on a sensor," and it didn't cure the fault? You've got £45 sensor that hasn't cured the fault, even though that's what the fault was telling you. So this is the problem when you've got modern cars riddled in sensors. So we'll pull over. Meow. Look at the roll. Look at the roll. That bonnet. Ooh. Right, so we all know where we are. Right, so let's have a look at this list. All right. Boom. Okay, so on this list, I've put down some of the interesting stuff that you're going to need to know. All right, so, but this was an extra back seat setup, because this is a 7-seater, or can be a 7-seater, 25 quid for the back seats that fold out. So, but it was in Stroud and their free collection. So on here, hopefully my boy can zoom in and see that, or just see it. So we've got seat switches. So that's your heated switches that are down here. Tenner. All right. A battery, 50 quid. Okay, these are things that you may have to do. Carbon cartridge, £20. Fuel pump, electric fuel pumps, external from the tank, so it's easy to fit, 32 quid. A set of plugs. I'm actually running iridium plugs in this one, which I got for £12 for all four. I found all four, 14 quid. Okay. What's that? Oh, head gasket set for the B30 engine, which is this, the red block. £26. Fuel filter, £16. Cam seals, £15. All the seals I found around about a tenner, 8 quid to £15 for whatever. Track rod ends, £17. Rotor arm, tenner. Thermostat, cam belts. So all these numbers, this is prices. £20 for a thermostat. I thought that was quite expensive. Cam belt, 14. Water pump was water pump and the gasket, £7. No, sorry, the water pump gasket was £7. Rear flexi brake pipes, £7. Now, I've done some consumables here. Clutch, a complete clutch kit, brake, pressure plate, backing plate, clutch plate, bearing, £111. Oil filter, 8 quid. Brakes, I found a master cylinder. These are brand new prices. Brand new master cylinder, £42. A pin kit. So all your sliders, your pins and everything, and shims, anti-squeal shims for your discs, tenner. Pads, £11. Discs, £19. £8 was the cheapest set of pads. I mean, that could be rears. I don't even know if it's got discs on the front. So you're looking at really cheap prices for parts that you may need on one of these Volvos. And that was easy. That was just bang. As it stopped pissing down rain now, we're going to get out. And we're going to have a little look. What happened to that light, Fathead? Oh, it was up there. Where'd the light go? Oh, you got it. So, you've got a bonnet release down here, which is a bit of a weird one, because you nearly have to get a hernia. Now, this is a 2.3 B30 engine. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. Now, you've got to get a bit excited sometimes with this old shit, because look at the space. Now, this is what I'm saying to you about, if you take this to a mechanic and you say, "Can you replace my water pump, please?" Oh yeah, look, there's a water pump. Wow. How easy is that? Look, the only thing you might get an issue with is if the stud snaps off or something. Okay, that's the only time you're going to get an issue. But a mechanic may have to be a mechanic and not a fitter. But look at this, 200,000 miles. Look at the state of the manifold bolts. 200,000 miles. That's got a new stud in there by the looks of it.
Tell them where you welded.
Oh, I did a little bit of welding on the underside, and that's another thing. It's gonna need welding. All right, it's an old car. It's gonna need welding. This car, okay, this Volvo cost me 350 quid. Okay. £350. So I'll give you a walk round. I mean, it was a bit green, wasn't it, Bri? When we got it, it was pretty green. And my mate picked this up for scrap. He was going to scrap it, and I turned up and I was laughing. I just sold my Morris Marina, and he brought this, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to weigh it in," because it weighs 2 ton. So it's going to be a good car to weigh in. And I said, you can't do it. And he's like, well, Rob, I'm going to get like 300 quid for it. 350 quid. So I'm like, okay then. And he said, well, you can have it 350 quid. Look at everything. Slave cylinder, starter motor, alternator. All right, all the things that you may need to change on a car, okay, especially a car of this age. And look where everything's located. Distributor cap's a bit weird though. I thought that was a bit of a strange one. I mean, everything's accessible. Master cylinder, Volvo master cylinder. Look, bleed the master cylinder. How good's that? Replace the master cylinder. Coil. Okay, all these things. Power steering pump. Okay, all these things that may possibly go wrong. Battery, nice and easy to get to. ABS pump. Look, even look at this. Those of you that recognise it, copper brake lines. So she's already had a lot of work done, which is basically what it was. Everywhere I looked on this, there was new calipers, new brakes, new everything basically, and everything worked. Even the ancient diagnostic system. So this is when diagnostics was diagnostics. You take your little pin out of here, look. I need help. Thank you. So you take your little pin out, where is it? Take your little pin out in there and you stick it in there in the corresponding pin. So even this had like diagnostics from God knows when. I did manage to turn the light out with it. So power steering reservoir, all in your face. So when you take this to a mechanic and you say, can you fix my alternator? There's your alternator. Look at it. Look at it. It's just, for someone like me who works on cars, well, I don't now because I hate them. It's just great. Change the plugs. I think I did all 4 plugs in this in about 12 minutes because they're all here. HT leads, you can get them cheap enough now. And for fault diagnosis, you've got a crank sensor somewhere at the back. I think it is actually, or it might be on the front. I don't know. But you got various sensors. Okay, they're easy. You know, it's not starting. No spark. Right, it's going to be a rotor arm, or it's going to be a coil, or it's going to be a crank sensor. You've got fuel injection, okay, Regina fuel injection, but it's quite an easy injection. I mean, when I bought this, I literally went through, did plugs, all of the little connections, the earth straps, I went and cleaned them all, had all the injectors out, cleaned the injectors, all the little things, checked all the earth, rubbed up, and that's the thing, you can fix stuff, right? You either take it apart and put it back together and it works, and they say, how'd you fix that? I don't know, I just took it apart. Everything's mechanical, there's no ECUs, there's no immobilizers to get shitty for no apparent reason. And if you take this to a mechanic and say, can you weld it? They go, yeah, ideal. So she had welding here, she had welding down there that I did from the other side. She had exactly the same on this side. So she had some welding done on the underside of the, oh, there you go, welding on the underside of the wheel arch. Same as where on that side under here. And at the back, that's quite interesting, don't know what that is. So there's welding done there, welding done underneath. Oh, there you go, look, show off my welding, look. Here's my welding, so I done that one just because it was in my face and I was welding the exhaust at the time. So everything you can fix, you know. If your brakes don't work, you can fix them, you can get all the parts. Now, has this got discs, young man? Has it got discs? Yes, wow, rear discs, tow hitch. It's phenomenal. The things that you find. Hello, dog. I'm looking for something to lie on so I can show you the underneath. Okay, because it is going to be rusty. It's 40 years old. How old is it? No, 30 years old. 10 more years. Hey, 10 more years. I've been bin diving. I'll do that for another video. This is a solar panel module which I took out of a skip. Box of tapes. No tapes. Millennium Max. Anyway, another video for that lot. It's just an absolute beast. 7 seats. What are you doing on the front seats? What are you doing on the front seats? You want cuddle? Cuddle? Right. Go on, you go there, go on. She's probably frightened of the pole. Cavernous. And like I said, I drove this to Bristol, we drove it to London, and it didn't miss a beat. We put a bike in the back. Put a bike in the back of there. Whole motorbike. Check out my other video. Light fittings, most expensive was £55, cheapest was like 20 quid. And because it's an old car, your parts are everywhere. I don't count tyres, because if you're going to get rid of tyres, you're going to get rid of tyres. But everything's cheap, which is why Bangernomics, I think, is the way to go. And it saves the planet, and it's a talking point. It's nice to have a car that you sort of, oh wow, it's just nice that you have a car that people will come and talk to you about. Oh, the usual comment is, my parents had one then. Because they did. Everyone's parent had one, mainly because of ta-da! Look, the SIP system, side impact protection system. This was one of the safest vehicles on the road. You've only got to look at all the American films. They've all got a white turd. Okay, the Swedish Brit. Oh look, cigarette. You put that there.
But I don't know when to work it.
Right, so things to look out for. I could do a thing to look out for when you're buying a Volvo. Obviously, your normal stuff that you're going to have to look out for with any sort of engine. All right, pull your cap off. Take someone who knows. Oh, what's that? Oh, bro, look. You know what that is?
What?
What's that?
Ugh, plastic.
No, somebody's put PTFE on that to seal it. And that's the other thing, you got to watch your bodges. Oh, look.
Ugh.
Animals. I might leave that there. Well, you don't really want to leave that there because the gasket's probably got a bit skinny. But look at that in there. I mean,
Feels warm.
let's see if I can put some light on the situation, young man. Look at that. Look at the lobe on that. Let's see if there's any Do you know what? That cam has got no wear on it. There's no lip on that lobe or anything. I'm shining light at you. There's no lobe on that. Well, the lobe, you've got the lobe of the cam, and what will happen is where it runs, you'll get a little lip, okay, on the edge where you don't get metal against metal. So you'll get a lip on there isn't a lip. That's phenomenal. That's 200,000 miles on that cam. I haven't even bothered looking in here, I just looked in here to make sure there was no wow, that is quite phenomenal. So I only looked in there to make sure. I'm going to punch you if you keep losing it. I just stuck my finger in there to make sure there was no emulsified oil, so mayonnaise we call that.
Still more on it.
Yeah. I'll just replace the seal. Just replace the seal, and then we're done. Are you filming me?
Yeah, no, look.
Are you filming me, or are you filming over there?
No, look on the front.
Don't look. You need to be looking at me, not pointing over my shoulder. I'm going to punch this child in a minute. Right. You don't need to get in my face and look at my beautiful legs. You're meant to be looking at this marvel of a red block 2.3 engine, which they didn't really change in design because it ain't broke. Don't fix it. So also, I don't know if you've noticed, the magnetizer. So this is meant to like do something with the fuel as it goes in for economy. What a load of tosh. I am thinking of doing an LPG, find one that's got LPG on it, because that would just, it'd be great because this thing don't go fast anyway. What else can I tell you? Well, looking at a Volvo, look at the overall condition of it, yeah? Look if it's got oil pouring out. Look if it's got loads of new parts on it, which can be a good thing and a bad thing, okay? Check your coolant, look at that. Look at that, guys. I've just undone that. We've just driven it. You've just seen us drive it. Look at that. Give it a squeal. Yeah? Give it a squeeze. So there's your hose. There's your hose. Give it a squeeze. And just watch what comes out. All right, now look at that. That's beautiful antifreeze in there. I didn't do that. That was already like it. We got a few issues with baked bean tin down there, holding the hose on, which is now on the floor. Part of the warm air in, I don't know where that goes. Oh, it goes into the airbox, which is really weird because you don't want warm air going in. You want cool air, if anything. So you've got your antifreeze to check. You've got pull your cap off. You've got to check your oil. Can't check your oil, so you're not
water.
What?
You have to check the water.
Check your water. We just did that, donut. And just be a bit more mindful with old cars on your fluids. Okay, check your fluids like at least weekly. If you've got an old turd like this, check it weekly. Don't take the risk, because too many people just don't bother checking their fluids on anything.
Maybe replace the filter if it's rusty or.
Look, new filters, oil changes. Old cars like their oil changes, 10,000 mile, oil change. Even do it less than that if it's doing short journeys. Okay, don't be afraid of changing that unless you've got an auto transmission. There's big debates on whether you should change your fluid in auto transmission. I don't know, it's pretty scary. I've seen everything from yeah, it's really good and really not good, because obviously in the fluid you get the abrasive materials coming off the plates in the gearboxes, and then that abrasive material is what aids it to work, and then you take the abrasive material out in the fluid, put new fluid in the gearbox, don't work. So I don't know, it's a really weird one, automatics. Check condition, look, we've already spoken about it. What are these? Copper pipes. These even look like copper connections, which is weird. I've never seen copper connections. Usually you'll get copper pipes, but to be honest, they're all like that. And these look like factory pipes. So that's quite weird. I've never seen copper pipes on a car that aren't. Yeah, that's a bit weird. I'm a little bit confused about that. I'm really confused about that. That's kind of got me, because that's. Yeah, that's definitely. They're definitely factory lines. No, is that a Volvo thing that they have copper brake lines already fitted? Wow. And your electrics are all simple, you know. At this sort of age, they've begun to put waterproof connections on them and stuff. Oh, there's a relay there. I wonder what that's for. Don't know what that's for. And the other thing is, if something goes wrong, you can get relays from Amazon now, all built in, that you can just bypass it. Just go to the battery, put the wire on it and plug it into whatever you want, whether it's a fuel pump, whether it's lights that don't work. Light bulbs are a bit funny on these. You've got to get the right wattage light bulb in order to get them to work. Don't ask. It's a Volvo thing. I need to get underneath this, right? How am I going to get underneath this? Because I need to lie down. And of course it's pissing down my rain as usual.
Well, I don't feel it.
So, let's go and have a look underneath. God, the suffering I do for YouTubers. Okay, camera. Right, let's have a look, guys. So, obviously, it's an old car. This thing's had new cat and exhaust all the way through. Probably because the old one was worth a lot. There's a bit of welding that was done. Some point, was that the one? Yeah, that was the welding that was done. I spent £180 on this for welding. Oh, there's a fuel pump and your fuel filter. So you've got a fuel pump and fuel filter there, which anyone can do. Okay, all right, everything's in your face. Most fuel pumps now are all in the petrol tank. Okay, they're all in the petrol tank. Prop shaft gator, good condition. Okay, so just use your brains, guys. Have a look. Just have a look. I mean, this is 230 mile gators on your steering check. 230 mile. Look how dry that is. Actually, we say about oil coming out. Look how dry that is. Okay, you're gonna get more rust because it's an old car, but just use your brain. These actually had a special coating when they come out, and everything's cheap. Everything's really cheap. So we look at the back end. I mean, to be honest, I haven't really paid much attention to the back end, to any of it really. I've just sort of got it, went, oh yeah, I'm gonna need welding. Do I want to do loads of welding? Do I shit? Look at that, new flexible brake hose. Look, somebody's been in there and put a flexi brake hose. Handbrake cable looks relatively all right. Anti-roll bar, great big diff on the back. That tyre's looking a bit low. Okay, new exhaust. And this is the thing. Have a look at these things when you buy them. Just go underneath it. Oh yeah, ping, instant. Flexible brake hose. Check your fuel tank. Check your diff casings. Look how dry that casing is. Nothing on that. I mean, the thing is, you take this to let someone, a mechanic, look at it. Oh, you need to have got a broken spring or something. I wonder how much that would cost. That cable is awfully close to the spring. But I mean, this is 200,000 mile. 200,000. Even the weather shields are still quite good. Weather shields are the covers over your discs over there. Even those aren't too rusty. I mean, you've got to think. Okay, yeah, I'm losing a bit on fuel. Your insurance is cheaper. Okay, because it's an old car. all right? And if it's an old car that you pay £300 for, all right, so you've paid 300 quid for a car, it's not like you're driving around in a £7,000 or £8,000 car. The other thing is, they're not going to make you take this to, a little bit of work on the sill needed probably. They're not going to take this to a Volvo dealership if you bang it and say it has to be done by them. They're going to turn around and say, okay, well, we'll write it off. How much did you insure it for? £1,000. So they're not going to... What are you doing on the driving seat? What are you doing on there, dog? Right, I'm just going to start it. Yeah. I mean, look at this for a touch. Look at this. So this is a vent that comes in here that actually blows the heat onto there. I mean, you just don't... You don't think about these things. Look at that. Let's look at that. A little bit of noise from one of the lifters. Oh, just amazing. I like the afterthought of the ABS unit. Not the ABS, the airbag unit. That's quite an interesting one. To be honest, at this age, you've got all mod cons. Oh, you've got all mod cons, you know. I mean, you've got a McPherson strut. Have a look at the McPherson strut. Nothing like that. So, it's, I think Bangernomics is the way to go. So, oh, that's the other thing. It's all fly. It's not fly by wire. Woo! It's not fly by wire. It's all mechanical. So, even though it's fuel injected, it's not fly by wire. Look at that. This is quite good. You ready? 10p, 20p, 30p, 40p, 50p. That's how much expensive fuel is. Hence the LP. What are you doing? What are you doing driving? So, I just thought I'd do a quick video on Bangernomics and whether it's good. I mean, look at it. When I got this off me mate, I went all around it. And I went all around everything and was like, right, is it going to work? Is it going to work? Have I got to do loads of electrical stuff if it's going to scrap? Now, it did have a few issues with the emissions, i.e. it failed it. But the longer we were there screaming the tits off it, it worked. It could have been because it was a brand new cap. So, that's just what you have to deal with. And I wonder if that's why they got rid of it. They couldn't get the emissions down, but we changed the plugs. We gave it an oil change. I gave it 2 oil changes actually. I stuck loads of those like cat cleaners in there. Sorted out the holes in the exhaust because they'd replaced the whole exhaust but not the downpipe from the manifold, which was a bit weird. So, I mean, go buy an old car, save the planet. Yes, it's going to do shitty mileage, but you're not taking it into a garage and them charging you 75 quid. You buy a lot of fuel with 75 quid. And this thing on a run is beautiful. When it went to Bristol, it was doing 123 miles. I did about 112 mile on 20 quid. So, and it drove beautifully. I actually got out of this, even though the seats collapsed and you basically, that's metal there, look. That's the metal framework. Alright, oh shit, it's really bad. Basically, I was sat on that, but I've got a little cushion that I use. So I put the cushion down, and that was it. So, you alright? Everything okay? Are you looking at the YouTube people? Yeah. So, you've got your little cubby box, we've got some cassettes in there, although, check out. Oh, did I put it back? No, it's not that one. I'll let it go. I don't know where it went. I was looking for the leveller's tape that decided to chew itself. No, that's an old school thing. I mean, just have a look. I mean, like I said, look for, just use your brains. Oh, there's a sock. Just use your brains, look at stuff, you know, look at the condition of things. See if anyone's been in there chopping wires. Look for any fluid that's hanging off. That's a plastic pedal. Look for any water coming down from the matrix under there. Look to see if there's, I've never looked under there. Just look at the general wear and tear of the car. And the other thing is, look, we need to do these, grease everything. Just go around with your lubricant, like some spray grease from chain lube or something, but you can go and use any stuff, not really WD-40 for this sort of stuff. Get some like some like grease in a spray can that WD do. I mean, it's just absolutely brilliant. And like a lot of these switches, you know, if they go wrong, you just wow, listen to that. That blower takes so much out the power. It takes so much power, the revs actually go up and down because of the labouring from the alternator having to charge that motor. So just look around at stuff. I mean, I looked at this and I saw it, and I did all my brake checks. I did all my I took it for a spin, and I'm just saying to my mate, I said, we just can't kill this. You can't scrap a car that's relatively mint and going. And I don't go, well, see, I haven't greased any of this. You need to just go around and grease everything. I haven't done loads of mechanical work on this because I haven't had to. And to be honest, you take this, like I said, you take this to a garage who are used to working on Mercedes and BMW, and you bring them a Volvo and say, oh, can you replace a caliper? Can you put some brake lines on it? They'll be more than willing to do it. Can you do a troubleshoot? Although saying that now, a lot of people don't know how to do things with points, or this might have pointless ignition. I think this has got pointless ignition, so there's no points in there. See, look. Oh, that was me the other day. Look, I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I replace these? I think I might replace. Oh, I think I replaced the HEs as well. I didn't do the cap because the cap was rather expensive. So you got to be careful. Like when I was saying stuff's cheap. Cap was like 50 quid. I was like, ooh, don't want to spend that on it yet. So yeah, you just, what's this? What's this, look? I don't know, it's like a Lucas, that looks like Lucas or so? I don't know, quite weird. So just do your research. I mean, everything's here for you. Okay, look, 1950 kilo. So that's obviously not with all the shit you put in it, like a tow hitch. So you put tow hitch on this and there you go. You're at 2 ton. So it's just I'm just old school. I do like this though. That's good, isn't it? Considering these are only like 20 quid tops. Oh, it's flashing. There you go. So you know that thing that we said we don't know what it is. What the heck? What's that? I don't even know what that is. I can't even read what's on the side of it. I think it's to do with like